Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Canada Creek Railway video where I'm building the locomotive. There are 3 of them, but this particular train is the 3rd train brought to the park in 1994. Right here I'm blocking out the cab of the train and I'm referencing a lot of photos taken by quite a few people. I've collected them online. And I'm also referencing the plans that I got from the manufacturer of the train. I'm making some basic shapes that I'll go back to later, and I will make a lot more refined and detailed, just kind of blocking them out for the minute. So right now I'm using a tool. It's a website where you can find measurements in photos. If you know one of the measurements in the image, you can use that to find out another in the image. So I'm using it to see how big the windows are. On this particular train, the windows are slightly different. They have thicker borders to them. So the artwork that goes up the side of this train is different to the other two, as well as a lot of the colors. So right here, I'm just making the first window, which I would just copy and paste so that I don't have to do it twice. And I'm adding in some of the bolts. You may notice that it is the wrong way around, but it's far easier to build it than just rotate it around. Then of course I will copy and paste that again since the windows are the same on both sides. So here I'm making the beams that go across the top of the roof. They're at the front and the back of the cab, and they go down to the floor as well. Now I'm making the small section that protrudes out into the cab. Now I'm making the windows that go at the front of the cab. One of them, when you're inside the cab looking to the right, is slightly smaller. I don't know if this is to make room for that little lever or mechanism to ring the bell. With the front of the cab mostly blocked out, there are a few more details to put in, but I will do those another time. Moving into working in the inside of the cab a bit more. So now I'm making the small guards that go to the sides of where the driver would enter. They have small rubber edges. There are photos where you can see it without, but I believe that they just came off over the years. Now starting to make the control panel sections, which are on either side of the cab, and some small support structure which goes at the left and right of that midsection that protrudes out. There are a lot of small details inside the cab of the train where you have a lot of controls for the driver and staff. I don't know exactly what they all do, but I know what they look like, so I can certainly put them in. They will go last because they're kind of tying in details that bring the whole thing together. Here I'm selecting a texture to try and find the best one for a certain piece of metal that goes on either side of the cab on the floor. And you see here I'm trying to make the pattern go all the way around the object seamlessly. There are a few ways that you can do it, but the simplest is to just project as a box. The texture will then follow the contours that you have made seamlessly. I'm starting to make the subframe of the train. I'm referencing some of the blueprints provided to me, but I can't rely on those completely because it is for another model of train, but it is very similar. But mainly I am referencing photos and videos. Coming up here, I have the support poles on the back, which you would hold on to stepping on and off the train. I've took those from the carriages that I modeled previously because they are the same style pretty much, other than this bottom section where the pole meets with the train. And I just copied and pasted them over. Continuing on with the subframe, I'm bringing it forward, using a lot of reference images to find out how far it goes forward and how wide the frame is. I do make a few adjustments here and there to get it just right. There are also a lot of missing details. I say missing, but it's kind of just hard to see in a lot of the photos since quite a lot of them are old and low resolution, or what I'm looking for is just out of frame. So I kind of have to guess in some of it and look at some of the other trains. Since there are 3 of them, they have a lot of similarities, but they also have a lot of details which are completely different. Now making the little part at the front which holds the Thorpe Park logo and is behind the scoop thing. I'm not sure what you call those. I believe they push debris off of the line so that they don't get stuck under the wheels. So here's the project so far. We've done the subframe, some of the cab, and some details at the front. In the next episode, I'm going to work on a lot of the subframe, some of the smaller details such as the piping going from the front to the back of the train, and I'll be adding the bell and resizing a few things as well, because there are a few little errors here and there. But that's it. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.